right, let's see where we're at here. Boom, 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 boom. Does everything look like it's moving? Are we recording? Are things moving how they're supposed to? I think so. All right, so it looks like everything's going the direction it's supposed to. So welcome to the World Show. It is Friday the 13th. If you guys can see me and hear me, well, I feel sorry for you. You should be someplace else, but you're not. So let's get us started right now. Welcome to the Gen X Talks. It's a live stream. It's a real live stream. We talk about real things here. Generation X just has a different point of view, don't they? A little more common sense, a little more reserved, wouldn't fly off the handle quite as fast as everybody else. I think that goes without saying. I think everybody knows that. I'm not making stuff up there. And it's just, it's a weird perspective that we have. Maybe that comes from just how many laps around the sun each of us has taken. I've taken 56 laps around the sun. I picked up a few things over the years. I'm not saying I'm right. Probably wrong most of the time, but it feels right up until to the point when you get proven wrong. It feels right until you get shown you're wrong, and then you stumble around and go, shit, that felt like it was the right thing. But we do have a different perspective on stuff. Things that come out of our brain just doesn't jive with everybody else, and mine's no different. So let me start by saying that I'm confused. I know it's the World Show. We talk about politics in the United States recently, but it's a World Show. We talk about things going on around the world. You guys tell me more stuff than I tell you. I listen to stuff going on in Germany from you guys. I listen to stuff going on in the UK from you guys. There's stuff in Canada. You guys are there. I'm not. I give you things at street level, right? I just look out my front door and tell you what's going on. I just very simply, I can tell you, there's a lot of political spin here. We just talk about what's going on and we share it with you. You guys do the same with me. You guys simply look out your front door, whatever town and state and country you live in, and you tell me what's going on. It's much better than hearing stuff over the news when they slice and dice it the way they want to. No, it's much better just to hear from you. I prefer to hear from you guys. Just at street level, look out your front door, grab a cup of coffee or a beer if it's in the evening, and tell me what you think. All right. So the biggest thing that's going on, the emails I've been getting, because it's been a couple weeks since we've had a World Show. We spent a lot of time out of state, and we've been traveling. It makes it really difficult for us, but we're back, or at least I am. So I need to address the elephant in the room, which is what you guys are talking about, is the debate. Now, you guys have been listening for a few days on the debate, and CNN and Fox News and BBC. Everybody's got all their stuff on the debate. So you've heard all the details. Not that I go over the details anyway. I don't get into the weeds on much of that stuff. We'll talk about a couple of them just to satisfy the masses, but that's not where my brain went. So let me apologize to begin with, to tell you that I already realized my brain doesn't work correctly. It's probably broken. And I want to talk about something. I'm going to back way up. Everybody knows about the debate. Well, they fact-checked Trump 5 times. They didn't fact-check Kamala at all. And everybody on the left says, oh, Kamala just crushed the debate. And everybody on the right, well, Trump didn't do too badly. Okay, look, I am a conservative. I am a conservative Republican. It's no secret on that. But I'm going to be very fair on everything we talk about. Trump got his ass kicked. Oh, I know that burns all of you up on there. He got frustrated. He got flustered. And when he got frustrated and flustered, he repeated the same thing. Goddamn, the immigration economy and the world's going to go to hell and she's fucked everything up. And then the next thing she comes out, she's very articulate and she's very flowing and she gets her words out right. And then Trump goes, well, goddamn it, I'm playing defense because I have to explain all of the shit she just said about me. And goddamn it, the immigration economy and everything's going to shit. And then he did it again and again and again. All right, so we had a bad debate. So what? I would still support Trump over Harris. And you go through the thing, well, what did Kamala really say? Did she really tell us anything? No. Did Trump? No, a little bit. I mean, but it was so frustrating to watch on many levels. And all the news has covered all of this better than I'm going to in detail. So I just needed to get my opinion out there because people say, well, I get emails. And it wasn't that bad. Trump didn't. Yes, he did. He got, I guarantee, Brit Hume said it best. Trump fell into a trap of conversation that his advisors begged him, don't do that. But that's when he gets flustered a little bit. That's his go-to move. And he did. He repeated himself over and over again. All right, I shut it off. I shut off the debate. I went back and watched some of it, the parts that I missed, but I got frustrated. I was up in Nevada at the Sun Valley Fox's house with St. Donna and Gen X Mom, and I shut it off. I just couldn't watch it anymore. It was not going well. He was not doing well, and he was on defense the whole time. And that's it. So there's about that part of the debate. I think Trump had a horrible debate, and so what? People have bad days. You guys have had bad days at work. You've had bad days parenting. So have I. It happens. All right. In fact, I think that's the only thing. One of the very few things I've ever agreed with Bill Clinton. Bill said one day, he said, nobody wants to be judged on their worst day. I agree with that. My worst day. Yeah, I hope that gets erased from history. Anyway. So, but here's how my brain works differently. Here's the problem I'm having. I sat back after the debate watching different opinions, channel surfing, and I'm looking at everyone's opinion on every news channel and every social media page I can just skim through. And everyone's talking about, well, Trump lies. Well, Kamala lies. Well, ABC News lied. All right, I got you. But here's where I didn't hear anybody saying anything about it anywhere. And this is the part where my brain is a little bit broken. Why do politicians lie? Not just in the United States, perhaps around the world. Why do politicians lie? And of course, every one of you is going, well, it's a goddamn stupid question. General, we know what. Come on, General. We know why they lie. They lie to get elected. Why? Why do you have to lie to get elected? Why does anyone have to lie to get elected? I'm just asking. It's just a question here. Nicholas Newton, General, I wanted to share with you and the Gen X family that I'm going to be a daddy again in the early 40s. Boobies and whiskey. Thank you, Nicholas. Probably not going to read a lot of the comments until the end if they go in the sheets or not, just because I'm trying to stay focused here, okay? Not that I don't appreciate boobies and whiskey. I do. But why do politicians lie? What for? Well, they lie to get elected. That's what you're all going to tell me. Oh, General, they lie to get elected. Okay, why? Why can't you get elected on exactly how you feel or exactly what you're going to do? Well, you have to appease everybody. You got to go up to the Northeast and tell them these lies, and then the South needs these lies, the West Coast needs these lies, and you have to get everybody on board, and everybody's got a different... So every politician lies. Well, not every. There's a few that stick very close to the truth of what they're trying to say, but I'd say most politicians lie. But why? Why is it that nobody can go out and just say the truth and say, here's what I'm going to do? Well, they'd lose votes. They'd lose it. They have to play the angles. All right. So let's assume that's true. We all agreed. Let's just say every politician lies, or most of them lie. So now, if we can't sort out the truth from the lies very easily on stage, because we know it would be nice if they just told the truth. If they're going to lie, wouldn't the next thing be to see, okay, let's examine one candidate, and let's say they all lie. Let's go to Trump and let's pull up 20 of his lies. And no, they're there. Go Google it. Go Google the web to do what's Trump's biggest lies. And they say, well, he lied about Mar-a-Lago and the state secrets. He lied about how many people were at his inauguration. That was a big lie. He kind of lied about his participation in January 6th. I mean, technically he didn't send them there, but he said, let's go. I mean, technically, he lied about that. And I'll tell you, John Stossel has a YouTube channel, and John Stossel goes through stuff on one of them he goes through a lot of stuff. Just one of the greatest pieces of information you're ever going to get is just to watch his channel when he dives into stuff and says, here's the facts, do what you want. It's great. One of them was Trump, and he says he said he was going to drain the swamp, and he didn't. The deficit grew. The government expanded. He did not do what he was supposed to do, and it tells you why. So I guess you could say that Trump was going to drain the swamp, but he didn't drain the swamp. All right. So if you pick 20 of the biggest lies that liberals on the left say he lied, and you look at them and go, and they say, there's 20 lies, and lie is a lie is a lie is a lie. And you're 20, you're like, nah. Me personally, when I look at their list of 20 Trump lies, I'm like, I don't give a shit. I don't, well, he's best friends with Putin. Yeah, so you say. I don't give a shit. Well, he lied about the journalist that was murdered in the Arab Empire. Okay, well, not sure how that went down exactly, but I don't care. I mean, I care about the man dying, of course. That's a terrible thing, but that isn't going to, I don't care enough about that incident to not vote for 20 lies. I'm like, I'm not sure I can go along with all of them the way you're pivoting them, but I get what you're saying. Okay, I believe all 20 lies. Most of them aren't that big a deal. When you get to death of the journalist is a big deal, but the way Trump was spinning it in the media that everybody was pissed about, I don't really care how he spun it. Then you go, the right will do the same thing about Harris. There's 20 lies of Harris, and you're like, all right, what's her lies? And they say, well, she said in her speech, we are not taking away your guns in the debate. We are not coming after your guns. Well, that was a pretty big lie, because in 2019, she was determined openly to submit a bill before Congress that she wanted passed into law that clearly said it's a mandatory gun buyback. All right, well, that's a pretty blatant lie, and then just like you're on stage, he says, Trump's not part of Project, or Trump wrote Project 2025. Okay, well, CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, they all said, no, he'd had nothing to do with that. That was the Heritage Foundation, and there's 15 or 18 authors. None of them are Trump, but she said it anyway. Middle of the debate, Trump goes, that's not me. It's not mine. You know that. Quit saying that. Now, ABC News, the moderators knew that. Did they fact check her? No, but they know. She knew. And she said it again afterwards. And nobody said a word. Trump didn't even bother that time. But, okay, she's lying. Now, if you stack up Kamala's 20 lies about I'm not the border czar, when she was proud to be the border czar, when there's not going to be fracking, but now there's fracking. I mean, there's 20, pick it, go Google it. Go Google the 20 worst lies of Trump that they say, the 20 worst lies of Kamala Harris that they say, and see which lies, if they all politicians lie and we have to deal with it, which ones are more serious. Which ones is, lying about, somebody lying about, I took 3 cookies out of the cookie jar when I said I took 2, versus, I lying about how the 13 people died related to the Afghan pullout. I'm just saying, all you have to do is go down there and choose for yourself. And I'm wondering, it goes back to, well, here we are dealing with just lies after lies after lies, and why do they do it? And everybody says to win. Everybody says you lie as a politician to appease and get votes in the areas you might not be getting the votes. I want to tell you a story. This came to my mind when I was sitting here just shaking my head going, why is it we have to lie about everything? Because really now we're just choosing the best liar or the worst liar or the person who lies the least or the person who lies about the most inconsequential context. Because that's in my country, I'm assuming around the world, but in my country, that's all we're dealing with. Everybody lies. And let's see who lies in which direction and which one we can tolerate the most. All right, so let's go back to a story, and I'm going to tie this in on why I think everyone's lying right now. And you're not wrong. When you guys are writing me emails, when you guys are putting in the comment section why everybody's lying, you're not wrong. But I have something to add to it. Do you guys remember when Mitt Romney was running for president? It was years ago. President of the United States, Mitt Romney, was running, and he didn't win. And Harry Reid was a senator from Nevada, very liberal, very hardcore Democrat. And he went on a public stage and said, Mitt Romney, the Republican candidate, has not paid his taxes in over a decade. That's what he said. And for some reason, it infuriated people. Sometimes you say something about a candidate, it's like, well, he had an affair on his wife. And some people go, I don't care. Well, he was hanging out in South America with some really questionable characters. Nah, I don't care. You never know in America what's going to stick when you tell a story about a candidate. You just don't know. Harry Reid came out and just said Mitt Romney hasn't paid his taxes in over a decade. Just one of the usual jabs from the left at a conservative guy from the right, a Republican nominee from the right. All right. This one stuck. I don't know why, but it resonated with people, and it was a big deal. Harry Reid probably didn't know how big a deal it was going to be. He was throwing out lots of stuff. But this one stuck. It was an issue for people, and the problem was it was a lie. It was just a complete made-up lie. Mitt Romney shows his tax returns. He shows everything, how much he paid, what he filed, where he was, and nobody cared. Here's the phrase. You ready? The damage was done. You catch that? The damage was done. It was a made-up, bold-faced, pulled it out of his ass lie. He threw it out there, hoping it would trip some people up. It tripped up the whole fucking country. Years later, Romney lost the election, and years later, they interviewed Harry Reid and were talking about that. And this was 6 years later, I think it was. And they said, Harry, or Mr. Reid, in the middle of the interview, they said, you told that lie about Mitt Romney's taxes. You said that he hadn't filed his taxes in over a decade, and he did. Why did you do that? Now, a typical politician would sit back in their chair and go, well, at the time, I thought the information that I had, I thought that he hadn't paid his taxes. Now, I had seen later on that he, in fact, did. But, the information that I was working with at the time, they say bullshit like that to justify themselves. Much the way children argue with their parents, trying to slide the conversation and weasel through things to justify where they're at. Everybody knows it's bullshit. But Harry Reid sat back in his chair when that guy looked at him and said, why did you lie? You knew it wasn't true. Harry Reid sits back in his chair and looks at him and goes, well, he didn't get elected, did he? That was his answer. He didn't get elected, did he? Now, he didn't elaborate past that, but you get what I did it because I didn't want him elected. I knew it was a lie. I wanted to lie. I intended to lie and mislead, and it worked. He didn't get elected, so who gives a shit if I lied or not? That's the subcategory. That's the subtext of what Harry Reid said. But he admitted it. He goes, well, he didn't get elected, so who cares? The damage was done. And it is such a big thing in my country for politicians to say whatever they want, whenever they want, because the damage is done. I brought something up to you guys about a year ago. I tried to describe something to you on how fast the news changes and how nobody cares. I'm going to summarize it because we're right in the middle of one of these now. So follow me on this. I'll use it in the context of right now. Let's say in the debate, let's say that Kamala Harris told 22 lies. Hardcore, blatant, Harry Reid lies. All right? Let's say you say, well, I'm going to go prove these wrong. So you start digging in. Now, sometimes you got to dig into information. You got to pull files and you got to read through things and you got to print stuff out. And then you go to the next line. You got to follow up and you got to look at some interviews. You got to pull some context out. You got to sift through thousands of pages of documents. You print out the ones you need and you go to the next line. By the time you get to the 22nd lie, you can now prove all 22 lies are deeply false, bold-faced lies. So you run up to Kamala Harris and her campaign, and you said, hey, you remember the debate? You told 22 lies, and I have proof that all 22 of them were bold-faced, horrible, you can't get out of it lies, and here's the proof. Let's say you did that. Let's say a reporter did that. Let's say a news agent, let's say the New York Times decided to do that. By the time they get done, the debate was 6 weeks ago. She's been to 17 different campaign stops along the way. She's done 23 other interviews. There's 8,000 commercials out there about her. The damage was done from the 22 lies, the 22 Harry Reid style lies. The damage is done. It's in everybody's brain. She reached 9 million people with her 22 lies. You have to take your documents and try to get back to those 22 million people and see if they're still interested. Hey, do you remember 6 weeks ago at the debate? I can prove she lied. I found out she lied. 22 million. Can you reach all 22 million? Or 9 million? Can you reach all of them? You got 9 million. Sorry, but you get 9 million people at 22 lies. Can you reach them all? Can you reach all the 9 million people with the 22 lies? Can you get those to them and say, hey, you don't have a way to get to the 9 million people anywhere, 9.4, whatever it was. You don't have a way to get to them anyway. And even if you did, could you take your stack of papers, even if it's 100% proof? Do you have time to explain it to all the 9.4 million people? Can you get there? You just spent 6 weeks uncovering the lies and exposing them, but nobody's going to listen. And that you couldn't get to them anyway. And she's moved on. She went to the next campaign stop, the next campaign stop. They did the next interview, the next commercial, the next interview, the next campaign stop. And who knows what lies she told at each one of those stops. See, that's the issue we talked about before, about a year ago, is that a politician can lie. And by the time someone unravels and proves the lie, they've already moved on. They don't even care. Like, yeah, Kamala would tell you, said, well, that was at the debate. That was 6 weeks ago. I'm beyond that. I mean, if you say you got proof I lied, you got proof I lied. I'm moving on. I'm busy. And nobody takes it seriously. And even if you could snap your fingers and make all 9.4 million people turn and face you, and you could hold up all of your documents for the 22 lies, are you really convincing anybody? Because the problem in my country is a lie can be 3 sentences. A bold-faced lie can be 1 sentence, and it sticks with people. Those 9.4 million people, it sticks with that 9.4 million people, all right? You have to come by on one lie and have pictures and copies and notes and documents and interviews, and it takes you 45 minutes to prove to people that lie is a lie, and then it's false, and then it's horrible. It's a Harry Reid lie, no, and they didn't care when they said it. They took 1 to 3 sentences, 30 seconds of their time, and it sticks in 9.4 million brains, and you have to focus their attention for 45 minutes to debunk that lie. And then the next lie. And then 40 minutes on the next lie, and half an hour on the next lie, and then 1 hour on, until you get through all 22. That's why nobody cares in this country. No politicians care. They just lie and move on. Lie and move on. Lie and move on. Lie and move on. Now, if they say Trump lies, then they've got CNN and NBC and ABC. They jump on his lies and they show their viewers expose his lies the next day. Fox News does the same to the Democrats. They spend the next day debunking their stuff. But who watches those shows? You kind of already picked a camp. You've already picked a candidate. You've already picked a direction. That's why I'm not so sure how much the debate really changed anybody's mind. Everybody who was already on board with Kamala Harris is like, holy shit, this woman's great. All the emails I got about Trump supporters were, well, he didn't have a great day, but he came across strong. They had already decided. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Fox News says the next day about debunking Kamala Harris's lies. You're preaching to the choir. The people who are listening and watching Fox News, they already felt the same way. They may not know why. They may not know the facts. They may not be able to prove in their own brain if she lied. They're like, fuck her. That didn't sound right. I'm done. I'm just talking to you guys and saying that, why do politicians lie? Why can't they tell the truth? It isn't who can tell the most truth. It isn't who can be the most truthful. It's who can tell the biggest lies and get away with it. Who can tell the most lies? Who can lie about the other candidate? Who can lie about themselves? Because by the time you go to prove it, nobody cares anymore in my country. I'm not sure what's going on where you guys are at, but in my country, nobody gives a shit. The headlines, the soundbite, the drive-by, boom, 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 I said some stuff and off I go. That's what sticks. Nobody really wants to hear past, nobody has the attention span. They don't want to hear it, but they don't have the attention span anyway. They want to listen to, how many people listen to the entire debate? How many people turned off after the first 30 minutes because they had something better to do anyway? You had something better to do than learn how the fate of your country was being handled? Oops. It's frustrating. So when I tell you that I think about things differently, yes, I thought about the debate. Yes, I thought that Kamala did a better job than Trump. She was more eloquent, as far as just persona. I think she won that thing. If you're having a vibe contest on who had the coolest appearance, I don't think Trump won. I think he was very frustrated. Different than substance. It's way different than substance. But all politicians in my country seem to lie, and the bigger the lie, the more momentum you gain, because the people that follow around fact checking you can't catch up with you anyway. That's 6 weeks have gone by, and you're on your 17th campaign stop. No one's listening. All you can do on those counts is say, oh, by the way, when so-and-so was on the stage in Atlanta, they told 4 lies, and here's the 4 lies. Okay? Are we good? And then you move on. No one remembers which rally, which campaign was in Atlanta, on what day, what lies did they tell? I don't even care. But whatever speech they made counts. Right? That's it. Right now, till the end of the election in my country, a lot of you listening outside of the United States, in my country, what this is going to come down to now, I don't think there's going to be any more debates. I think it's just going to be campaign rallies, and it will be commercials. We love our political commercials here in this country, and we'll be inundated with them till we're sick of them, all the way until the election. I believe, if I had to guess, the way things typically go is Trump will reach out to liberal channels like CNN, ABC, NBC, channels similar to that, and he will do interviews because he reaches an audience on the other side. And he will just be very careful how he handles those interviews. He actually does those very well. And because all of the masses that support Harris are watching those channels, watching that news, watching that media, they will tune in to it when Trump is there, not because of Trump. It's because that's the channel they watch. That's where Trump wins back some voters, is when he does that. And he probably will. I would guess that he would. Now, do you think Kamala will go on Fox News to win back some of hers? Will she be on Ben Shapiro? Will she even go to the Hodge twins and say, I'd like to express my views? Do you think she'll go to any party like that where she can reach across the party lines? Probably not. If I had to bet, I'd say no. She will ride the thing of the good vibe, good feeling, and Trump will get back in the trenches and dig his way back out, and then we see what happens. The other thing was that you guys caught on to, we talked about this about a month ago. I still want to say it's pretty relevant, is when Biden backed out of the race and Kamala had no votes, almost no support, no nothing, the day that she was kind of put in that position of she's the candidate running, all of a sudden the polls around the country, well, they show her neck and neck. It's almost a tie with Trump. It's just right up there at the top. This is going to be a close race. Race hadn't even started yet. And nobody could figure out why the polls were showing them neck and neck when they weren't. It wasn't even close. Trump was just beating the shit out of Biden everywhere. And then all of a sudden, the first day that Trump's facing Kamala as the candidate, now the day, boom. Well, we haven't heard one thing about her. We haven't heard a policy. All we know is the last 3 years of mayhem in our country. But we're putting her right up on top with Trump. Why? I couldn't figure it out either for a while. What was the? You obviously know they're lying. You can't be telling the truth back then. Someone brought this to my attention. Okay, it wasn't me. Not an original thought of mine whatsoever. But if the Democrats were going to steal the election, if they were going to fudge the election, if right up to election day the polls all said Harris is at 20%, Trump's at 80%, Harris is at 30%, Trump's at 70%, all the way to the election, and then we all woke up Wednesday morning and they said, "Oh, that's the weirdest thing. We got up this morning. I know it looked like Trump was winning last night, but we woke up this morning. I don't know. We counted the votes and Kamala won." That'd be a hard thing even for liberals to swallow. That'd be tough. There's no way anybody would believe that. It'd be civil unrest that minute. However, if you keep the polls at a tie, you keep the polls close, you keep the polls even, make it up. Lie about it. Make up your own polls. Keep her right there tied. And then if the Democrats were going to steal the election, and we say, well, we woke up, it looked like Trump was winning Tuesday night. We all woke up Wednesday morning, and it looks like after we counted the votes, it looks like Harris won. Well, what did you think? The polls were pretty close. The polls showed us that this was a close race. We've been telling you the polls for the past 3 months. This is no surprise to us. Is it a surprise to you? It's not a surprise to us. Look at all the polling. It was very close the whole way through. So, if they're right, if the person who told me that theory was right, just keep putting out the polls. Just keep making stuff up. I like the polls that are truthful, the ones that want to be right. Let me explain what that means. Every year after the election, you go back, and every news channel does this. So they have all these polling places, hundreds and hundreds all over the country. The election happens, somebody wins, somebody loses, and then everybody turns around and looks and said, okay, who got it right? Who got the polling right the whole time through? Which poll was the most accurate? And there's always a handful, 4 or 5 out of hundreds that did it legitimately, asked fair questions. They had their finger on the pulse of America. And at the end of it, they're like, we were right. And they say every year they go, we were right again this election, this cycle. We were right. We're the most, and they love being the most accurate ones. They love to be able to say they got it right. It's a huge thing for them. It's a big flex. They get ad revenue because their site gets the most traffic there, because all of a sudden everybody's going to these sites. Those are the ones I like to listen to. Those are the ones I've got a list. I should put that up on our website, a list of the polling places that have been right, the most accurate every election cycle. There's 4 or 5 that are almost right every time because they're fair. Those are the ones I listen to. Those are the ones that I watch because they're trying to be right. They want to be famous for being right. All the other ones are stacking the deck, one way or the other, just so you guys know. All right, so I've taken up about half an hour of the program ranting on why things are broken in my system. Let me jump over here and see if there's anything. I don't think there's anything in the sheets at all. I don't think I have one moderator helping at all. No, I do not. I see Trippy in there a little bit. I see Disney's Kid, but nobody's here. I'm in studio alone today. No Gen X Mom, no Queen. A lot of people have regular jobs. So they can't. They're working 9 to 5. They're clocked in for somebody. They can't be moderating the pages. So let's see if there's anything in here. Just see if there's anything important going on here. People talking back and forth. I'm looking at the YouTube one right now, And looks like Phil's Garage talking, and Mr. The bullshit says Mr. Fatty. I'm talking about the stuff going on back and forth. All right, so Firewood Art became a KGXT Studios member. Now, Firewood Art, that is the highest level you can get. So after the show, we'll turn on the studio camera. Anybody who's a member in YouTube, they pay $1, you can get in, you're an extra. But there's a couple different pay things you're allowed to do if you want to. When Firewood Art got to the top, a KGXT Studios member, there's a lot of benefits that go along with that. One of them is you get the access to the studio cam 24/7. So any hanky-panky going on behind the scenes, he gets to see it. Let me jump in here, scroll back. We did Nicholas Newton's one. I don't think I missed any other ones in there. I'm pretty sure I got those. All right. So listen, you guys know, you guys watched the Bottom of the Glass show last night. You guys know that we spent some time up in Reno and in the area, not gambling. We don't gamble anyway. And we were exhausted to come back. We did the Bottom of the Glass Nation show last night, trying to put out a good world show today. Had some stuff we want to talk about, mainly answering your questions. You guys had questions after questions after questions about the debate. I just didn't want to get into line by line by line of how I thought the debate went. You can get that anywhere. I thought I'd back up and look at a bigger picture and go, why is everybody lying and how does it works? Because the damage is done. Why lie? Because the damage is done. You stole the votes. You stole them. You lied and you stole the votes. So that was one. Also, a lot of you are asking too, and we say this every show, if you didn't get notified by Facebook, if you didn't get notified by YouTube about the show starting, join Patreon. It's $1. It's the only way we have of sending you an email. It's $1, but half an hour before every show, we send you an email saying, hey, we're going to start a show, or hey, we have some stuff. Plus on Patreon, you can go back almost 4 years now and see behind the scenes 4 years of members only stuff that we've put, not for public consumption. And it's all posted there. You just got to take time to go back and look at it all. But the main thing is you get an email letting you know when we're doing something special. If we're going live on KGXT Radio, which we should be going on around noon today, that was the plan. My wife told me to tell everybody we're going live at noon today on the radio. We're doing the podcast. The simulcast is live. And that's the unedited version, the unedited, unfiltered, unscripted. Then we take out all the stuff we really weren't supposed to say that can get us fired, and then we edit it down, and then that's for public consumption. But there's a lot of you that listen on KGXT Radio. Again, on Patreon, we let you know, hey, we're going on in an hour, and we'll see you there. Just an email, let you know what's going on. What else was there? The last week's podcast is up. I got to see if we did. I'm not sure if we actually got the video part of it up or not. The moderators can give you can go to our webpage, genxtalks.com. Just go to genxtalks.com. Everything's on there. If there's a picture about something you want, click it. It takes you to where you want to go. If the video one's not up, we'll make sure we get that one up today. All right. I think that was about it. I'm trying to scroll through. There's a bunch of dumb stuff in here that we don't want to talk about. I will tell you this, though. Anybody on Facebook, our channel is being imitated. They have clone channels of ours out all over the place. If you go to our website, genxtalks.com, you scroll down till you see that picture, it clicks you to a page that shows you the fake pages. It links you to the fake pages. And it just reminds you what box to check to help get rid of them so we can keep our stuff. They put up a channel, they just copy our videos, and they just put them up as their own. It's kind of bullshit. It's a slow process to get rid of it. We complain about it every day, but it would help if you guys could go do that. Anybody who thinks that we're worth a damn, then we'd appreciate you taking 5 minutes out of your day and telling them to go fuck themselves, because that's what you're trying to do. All right, I think that was it. If we don't have any other questions in here, let's see, anything for me? Phil's Garage. Mama X told everyone she loved him last night. Yeah, she was drunk. She lied, Phil. Mama X told everyone she loved. She doesn't. She doesn't love you guys. That's why she was. Did you hear her bashing Facebook last night? Nothing on Facebook. No comments on Facebook. Yeah, that's why the Facebook stars started to come to the Hefe. That's why the donations for me drinking went to the Hefe. Oh, she turned her back on Facebook. It was horrible. I still love you guys on Facebook. You guys are my friends. You guys are my pals. I go through your comments and read your stuff all the time. Her, not so much. So just remember who really loves you. That's this guy right here. All right, Phil's Garage. He goes, he boots those channels, every single time he sees them. Yeah, we need that a lot. We do. General, Florida man, no more General's lunchbox. Yeah. There's no more General's Lunchbox show. We used to do a show called the General's Lunchbox in the middle of the day. We did it, I think it was Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11. Just didn't get any traction. We did it for almost a year. Didn't gain any traction. So, but the General's Lunchbox page is up there. If you guys go to the General's Lunchbox Facebook page, you can find it's a membership page, but that also has 4 years of behind the scenes stuff. However, we don't have a way to email you. We don't have a way to collectively tell everyone on the page, hey, we're going live. Hey, we're doing something. YouTube doesn't have that feature either. The only way we've been able to do that is to on Patreon, because there's a direct email. So we don't abuse it. We just let you know when something's going on. We don't ever sell you anything. We just let you know what we're doing. We put up special behind the scenes stuff and move on. It's the most easiest thing you've ever done. It's the best dollar you're ever going to spend. Yeah, it's a true story. All right, So listen, that was it. It is an exhausting day. It's been a hell of a weekend. I did want to come on here and address the elephant in the room. I think we covered that quite nicely for everyone who's listening in around the planet. Appreciate you guys. But I got to go. We got a garage show to do tonight. We're going to do the garage show at 6 o'clock, so 6 p.m. Los Angeles time. Those of you on Patreon, you're going to get an email half an hour before the show letting you know where we're going to be. We're going to do that show. We got some stuff to show you. We got a whiteboard. We got some questions. You guys can ask us stuff. We'll respond. I'm going to go settle in tonight in the garage right behind my Snap-on toolbox with a shot of whiskey and sit with you guys, my friends. We're going to have some garage talk. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got some things to show you. We got some questions we can answer, but I'm going to get out of here right now. I got to go. It was a little bit of a short show, but it was a way to get back into. We haven't been on here in a couple weeks. This is a nice way to get our feet wet and move back along. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for showing up. Not sure where you're listening in from around the planet. AM, FM, Sirius XM, or perhaps on the Armed Service Radio Network. Remember two things. Wherever you go in life, there you are. And I'll catch you guys at the next World Show on the flip side.